Debbie, are you on?
I think you can hear me now, everybody. I think I have finally managed to unmute.
Oh, hi, Mary. Thank you so much for joining us. There are several superstar directors on here every Tuesday night. As Debbie Pitts-Palmer may have mentioned, we gather together and we talk and we train and learn from one another. We were just elated when Debbie said that she messaged you and that you were willing to meet with us tonight. So we are so excited. We already explained to everyone that you're a world-renowned author, very in tune with the direct sales market because you used to actually be in direct sales. So that's one of the things that we really admire about you is that you're not speaking from a place of studying the concept. You actually walked it, lived it, and you're here to tell about it. So thank you so much for taking this time, and we'll give the floor over to you, and we'll save some time at the end for maybe some questions and answers as well.
Okay, well, hi everyone. I am so excited to be here. I think those of you who know me, I see some names I know so well, so that's really exciting to me. And hi to all of you. But and I do have an excuse for being late. One of my tenants, a gorgeous Brazilian girl who is stuck down here in New Zealand because of COVID, has just given birth to a baby. So I just was talking to her husband and I couldn't get him off the phone, but I think that's a brilliant reason to be late on the call. But I just wanted to thank all of you, especially Debbie, for inviting me on, because I am going to start with a thank you. As many of you know, I've written 7 books. 6 of those are for direct sellers like me, because everything I have, everything I do, everything I am, I attribute to this business. So if it wasn't for the wonderful support I get from Scentsy leaders right from the start, I believe I may have been the first person to ever speak, or the first outside speaker at a Scentsy event. And I often like to tell this story because I see how many people are on this Zoom meeting. And I remember, I'm pretty sure it was in 2008, and there were about 20 people in a classroom style room in Meridian, Idaho. So it's just incredible to see how amazingly Scentsy has grown. So I always have a special place in my heart for all of you, because you also helped me realize my dreams by supporting my book. So this is my chance to give back. As you can probably see by looking at me, I'm actually in that position now where I am, I guess I would call it semi-retired. I'm not really sure how you describe it, because I seem to be super busy. But exactly as we just heard, I have been in direct sales all of my life. And it started back when, I do have this little line. It's probably now a cliche. I've been in the industry so long, I've had to start lying about it. But basically, to give you a very quick story, in my early 20s, after surviving a pretty chaotic childhood with an alcoholic father, I was married, mortgaged, had 2 beautiful children, and stumbled into direct selling at that time, literally as a way to survive, to help pay the bills for my family and give them a better life than the one that I'd had. So also at that time, I became the sole financial and emotional support for my children. So I would never have thought about becoming a direct seller. I was always a bit of an entrepreneur. I liked the idea of making money. Clearly, as a young mom, I wanted to be the mom my children deserved, but I also had to pay the bills at the same time. So I stumbled into the business, and I won't go through it all with you, but I have one regret. I didn't do it sooner. It just completely changed my life. However, like so many of the consultants you bring into Scentsy, I'm not going to say I had a dream start. I lacked the confidence, I lacked the skills. I was also, I have to admit, a little bit of a predator. You know, you'd never find me without my products, and I was always trying to push them on anybody and everybody, thinking that enthusiasm was the way to go, when in fact, as we all know, enthusiasm can be a little overwhelming to most people. But I had the one thing that so many of you have, or you wouldn't be here tonight. And that is that I had a goal, a dream, a vision for my future that was completely different from the life that I was living. And that dream that you have for the life that you want to live is the motivation that keeps us all going, no matter what life, what business throws at us, and including in the last year. I just have to say the fact that you're here on this Zoom meeting tonight, having maybe survived is too negative a word, but having survived the worst crisis, the most unimaginable crisis of our lifetimes, it just speaks to how amazing you all are. So that was my story. So and I never left direct selling because as you know, it's in your blood or it's not. And I did spend a number of years in a corporate environment. And I have to tell you a little bit about that story. I thought that that was what I wanted. Ever climbed a ladder and discovered it's up against the wrong wall. So I realized that what I thought I wanted, which was a corporate career that would somehow validate that I had arrived, was completely the wrong thing for me. I think if you, like all of you, if you're an entrepreneur, you are an entrepreneur, and you will never settle for less. You'll never settle for that corporate environment where you become a cog in a wheel, even if it appears a little bit dazzling at the start. But one of the most exciting things I did get an opportunity to do, thanks to Orwell and Heidi, is I had the opportunity to launch Scentsy into Australia, probably because I have the right accent, right? And I hope those of you who haven't heard me before are not thinking, well, that she's quite hard to understand. But so I am from this part of the world. And funny enough, after 20 years of living in the United States, the best 20 years of my life, I felt at the time, I realized I had to apply exactly the same disciplines that I had done when I was growing my business. What do I want? And now I go get it. I had to apply, where do I want to spend the rest of my life? And just like I set my business goals, I made a goal. I wanted to be close to my family. I wanted to look out of my windows every morning and see the best view on the planet. I wanted also the excitement of being around restaurants and cafes and movie theaters and life and vitality. Wanted to be able to get out into the outdoors. And so for me, 4 years ago, I relocated all the way from California, which I love, to live at the other end of the earth. I live in Queenstown, New Zealand. Some of you may have actually come here on an amazing trip. I remember our town being completely invaded by amazing Scentsy people, and it was so excited. But it is a tiny town, but it has the vibe of a big city. So anyway, that's enough about me. I just wanted, for those of you I haven't met, because I am seeing lots of names I know, but I'm also seeing lots of names I don't. So let's get on to, and at any point, I don't know how long you want this Zoom to go. Anytime, just interrupt and I will be quiet. So please don't just have me talking at you. If you have a question, I know how to do it wrong. I know how to do it right. But the point I wanted to share with you today, I think that in looking back at all my years of experience, looking at working with amazing people like you who are successful, but also seeing literally millions of people pass through this industry with big dreams, but without the skills to realize them. I sort of call them the fallen angels, people who, had they just taken the time to find a mentor, not try and forge their own path. As we all know, the path to success in direct selling has already been smoothed by the thousands of people, hundreds of thousands worldwide, who have followed that path. So what I wanted to do today is give you some skills. And I believe, can someone tell me, all of you on this call are superstar directors, is that correct? No, you're all different levels. Oh, that's even, well, the first thing you can do, I've got Bonnie's lovely face right in front of me. The first thing you can do is actually, this is a bit of advice I'd give to all of you. Think and act and speak as you wish to become. So if your goal is to become a superstar director, or if your goal is to become a director at this point, I love it. I've just had from Dorothy, superstar directors and future superstar directors. I want you to think that way, because any journey we take in life, whether it be personal or whether it be business, we always know where we're going. Perhaps with summer coming up, you're going to be taking your children on a family vacation. And you don't go, well, occasionally we set out and just see where life takes us. But most of us, if we plan a vacation, we think of somewhere exciting we want to go, and that decision has been made. That decision has been taken out of our hands. Now, all we have to do is make sure we're well prepared for the journey, all the things that we need for that journey, and then we set out. And you've all heard the phrase, it's not mine, winning starts with beginning. So you set out on that journey, but it's the certainty. And I often said when I spoke on stage, it's the most important step you make is decide, not want it. I'm not talking about thinking it would be great, I hope I can do it, because hope does not make a very good business plan. In fact, hope is the worst business plan. It's I will become a superstar director. That is where I'm heading. I don't expect the path to be always open to me. I don't expect everything to go smoothly. And as we know, disappointment is the fastest route out of this business. And I am going to digress a little bit. Thank goodness I've only got women on this call, because you'll be able to follow me with this. One of the problems that we have in this business is that we oversell it to people. So that our excitement, we say to people, look, I think you'll be amazing at this. Come and join us. We have the most fabulous team. You're going to love it. All you've got to do is ask, a few friends to give you a party, and then you book parties from that party. We all know that is absolute garbage. We all know their best friend is going to say to them, don't think I will. Someone who books a party is going to say, oh, good news, my cousin also sells Scentsy, so I'm going to do a party for her. Do you mind? And you have to, that's great, so excited. So we actually know that particularly the first 3 months are going to be a little bit of a minefield. And at any time, they are at the risk of the dreams that we've put into their head to be blown up by something that is unexpected, though as leaders, we know completely predictable. So my advice to you all, and I hope that you'll be able to use what I'm sharing with you, with everybody you sponsor. Number one, decide where you're going. Number two, get started. Just set out, knowing that it's not always going to be a smooth path. It's a little like hitting, for many of my years, I lived in Santa Monica, and I spent a lot of time on the 405. I lived sometimes 15 minutes from LAX, and sometimes I lived about an hour and 10 minutes from LAX, depending on the time I went and the traffic. In fact, with all my speaking, I spent a lot of time on the road. Most times I would take that factor out of it. I would drive to LAX the night before, check into a hotel, and walk to the airport the next day. So that's what journeys are like. Sometimes you're fast forward, it's exhilarating. Sometimes you're stalled in traffic. Sometimes you're even going backwards, because people leave, people disappoint you, people let you down. But if you know where you're going, you're equipped, you don't get disappointed. So for all of you, know where you're going, superstar director, it's worth it. You know it's worth it. You've seen the rewards, the income, the status, everything that you get with that, not least the role model you will become for your families, for all the consultants. We all know the greatest achievement in this business is seeing someone you discovered find their wings and become successful, and know that you found them, you invited them to join, you became their mentor. So when you're on the journey, you know things are likely to happen along it to Superstar Director. But let's go back a little bit with how you're prepared. You know you have a product people just adore. So you can check that one off. People adore Scentsy. They adore the decorative warmers because it turns houses, they turn houses into homes. They adore fragrance because fragrance is one of the most highly emotional senses that we can experience, that filling our home. I know that when Heidi first started the business, one of her main motivations was the fact that the memories that fragrance brought back to us. So you know all of those things. So you check that, yeah, I have the product. Then you have to look at the plan. You know, is this going to be profitable for me? Check, because you know that the Scentsy plan, for those of you who do reach that Superstar Director and continue to work the business, because there's no real ultimate destination in Scentsy, you just keep growing and going, but you know that the money pays. And then you need to look at, will the people I surround myself with, because you are in business for yourself, and we all know we all need a network, a community of people who are going to be there for us, if not every day. We're not on our own in this business, and you know that. Will I have that? So you go check, check, check. I've got everything I need. So that means only one factor, and that's you. And you can't be this blunt when you're talking to your consultants. You can't say, look, the business works if you do. Well, I used to, but you have to, in your own mind, understand that the only factor that is variable is you. And the only way to grow your business is to grow yourself. Grow yourself emotionally, so that when you hit an obstacle, when you are disappointed, when you feel yourself falling, you have an inner strength to keep going regardless. I call it picking myself up, dusting myself off, and just getting on with the job. Not letting bruises, not letting a few cuts and bruises stop you getting where you want to go. That's strength. Now, that strength doesn't come from confidence. That strength comes from courage. That strength comes from having a goal so powerful that every time you think about it, your eyes light up. And I used to do a lot of goal setting works with people. And by the way, if I signed a brand new consultant, the first thing I do is not sit with her or Zoom with her as we have to do today and go, okay, let me tell you how it all works. The first thing I do when I sit with a new person, well, the first thing I do is say, first of all, I want to thank you for joining us. Everyone's just going to love you. When you said that you're joining, I just thought, yes, because she's just fabulous, and I'm getting to looking forward to know you. What am I doing there? I'm just building her. I'm becoming her support system. I'm becoming the person she always knows will believe in her. Will no matter what happens and how disappointed she's feeling, she can come to me to know, look, you're fabulous. And by the way, join the club. The same thing happened to me when I first joined. My best friend, decided not to help me out in the business, and so I established that from the start. I'm going to be the person in your life who continues to make you feel good and helps you grow. So that is the number one thing I do. But the number two thing I do, if you could achieve one thing in your life, in this year, 1 year, used to say in your life, no more. We have no idea what's happening in the future of our lives now. If you could achieve one thing from your Scentsy business, you could just pay for one thing this year, what would you love it to be? And as leaders, I want to warn you, don't overwhelm your new person with information. Be quiet when you ask someone, what is it you'd like to achieve? You need to give me time, especially as I'm probably feeling a little bit overwhelmed by you, a little bit in awe of you. Give me time to think. So I would wait and smile and wait. And wow, as leaders, it's so powerful. We call it listening, but I also like to think it's waiting. And if they say, I don't know, I just give them a few clues. I might say, so if you could just buy something, if you could be completely selfish right now and have something just for you, what would it be? And often it comes out. Or if I might say, if you could make one family dream come true, what would that be? If you could surprise your husband with one gift, what would it be? But I just ask questions. I don't give answers. Because when I know what people want, and as you all know, the route to superstar director is people. The more people you have, the easier it is. And when I discover what it is, I look at them and say, so here's my job. My job is to help you get that. My job is to make sure that's what you get. And I'm loving all these goals that you're sharing. A home for my daughter and me, a new truck for my husband, new vehicle for hubby, monthly, our house payment, all these things, traveling whenever, wherever. These are just new car. I'm just loving all these messages that you're sharing, because right now your brains are focused on you. And that's where I want you to focus brains. And then with a new person, because remember, I'm on this journey with them. I traveled it. I know it can be perilous. I also know that the first 3 months are the hardest. 80% of people who join this business don't even get through the first 3 months before they fall into that trap. And most people, when they fall in, never get out of it. Or if they do, they go join another company. They think the grass might be greener if I just give another company a try. Or we know the grass is greener where you water it, right? So your job is, you have two jobs, in fact. If someone asks me what I do, and I'm a Scentsy leader, superstar, future superstar director, future director, I say I actually have two jobs. I sell the most beautiful warmers and fragrant products. You know how to describe Scentsy, what you sell, because you sell so much now. And remember when Buddies came out, Buddies became like the #1 seller because everybody absolutely loves them. But I also help mentor other people into their own business. So you need, as a leader, and I'm throwing a lot of things at you, please interrupt or ask me a question if I'm on the wrong track, because I don't want to be on the wrong path with you either. Thank you. Thank you for that. But remember that you have two jobs, and you need to be able to, in 10 seconds or less, make it clear to people what you do. I'm a mentor. I'm a business mentor. I help home-based entrepreneurs start their own businesses. And that's fine, because today, everybody has a couple of jobs. Everybody has a couple of things, and you have to. Make it clear what you are. Can I just give you a little tip? Never say, oh, I'm a superstar director with Scentsy. Means nothing. I never give a title. If I'm doing a party, I learn very quickly not to say, oh, I'm a leader, I'm a superstar director, I'm a gold diamond, double D, whatever. I never used to say that. I used to always, before I open my mouth, I would think, what do I want to happen? I want to relate to the people I'm speaking to. So for me to say, look like I'm successful, I don't want them looking up to me. I want them to spend time with me, to want to get to know me. I want them to like me and want to spend time with me. Do you have a question, Teresa?
Well, I know that in the beginning you wanted this to be interactive, so I wanted to comply with that. And I wanted to ask you a question, if that's okay. First, I want to answer your question that you are absolutely on the right path. You are doing phenomenally, and anything you say is great. But We have a lot of new team members that are joining us tonight, and we are so ecstatic, that they've joined Scentsy. I had one team member that asked the question today. She said, I don't know that I want to bring anyone on my team. I don't know that I want to grow my business. She had one of her best team customers join her, and she felt like that was a loss and not a gain. And so in your experience, when you were in direct sales, how would you respond to that? The fear of building a team versus losing your best customers?
Yeah, no, it is a really great one. And I do have a little phrase for it. I mean, I've been around so long. I have these little cliches for everything, little sound bites. But remember, sales are your income for today. Bookings are your income for tomorrow. Sponsoring could be your income forever. So you make a decision. Do you want a job or do you want to grow a business? I also want to answer that as well by saying this. If you are a new team member, if you are new, let me tell you, the best way to build a team is to walk with them. In fact, if I run a leadership program with directors, my first one is requalify yourself. So it's a little bit like when you have your first child, you know nothing. People say to me, and this is on a similar vein, oh, I don't know enough about the business yet to sponsor. How do you remember? I don't know how many of you have children. I'm sure you do. But you give birth to that child, you're so excited. And then your first thought is, how can I possibly keep this thing alive? How am I possibly equipped to even keep this child alive? But you learn and grow together. And that's what this business is like. In fact, I often actually equate it to raising a business, and a team is the same as raising a family. If you can raise a family, you can raise a team, because it's exactly the same thing. You know, your job is when they need it to hold them close and give them that support. But even when your child is brand new, you're holding things just away from them, hoping they'll reach out. You're teaching the child to hold their own. You think about it all along the way as a mom. You are encouraging your baby, your child, for independence. You put a mural hanging, or mural. I forgot the word. What's the whirly thing you hang above the crib to teach the child to focus, the baby to focus? So it's exactly the same thing. And then as the child gets older, let's fast forward to say a 4-year-old. I think I've got the age right. And it will take you 10 seconds to tie that child's shoelaces. But that 10 seconds is not going to teach them to tie their shoelaces. So you allow it to take 5 minutes or even 10 minutes to let the child learn to tie its own shoelaces. And that's how this business works. That no matter how experienced you are, think of it. I just want a customer. I mean, she's going to run out of warmers pretty quickly, right? She's going to have a warmer in every house, and she's going to stick to her favorite fragrance and maybe order it from you. But to be a superstar director, you have to think bigger. And if someone, by the way, going back, if someone does decide it's not for them, I always used to say to them, I just want to say, you didn't stay with us long, but wow, I'm so pleased the time that we got to work together, and you will always get a discount from me with your warmers, to make them feel good about the business. Did I answer that? Let me see. What are you all saying? Question. I've got Edna here. So great. Thank you, Torsha. Thank you for and Donna, thank you for the analogy. So I'm just going to read Edna. I look funny. Don't forget, I'm semi-retired now. So my face is not so good for Zoom anymore. When you sponsored someone that said they want to grow, but then they don't take action. Okay, that's an easy one. Spend your time with those who deserve it, not those who demand it. And you will notice that the people who demand it aren't the ones who deserve it. That's Murphy's Law. Spend your people. Think of it like a chess game. Your move, my move. I tell you, do you know, I've written so many books for direct sellers. Look, I even bought them to show you. Like, there you go. All these books that I bought. And by the way, If you haven't got my books, you do have to buy them because I wrote them for you, and they're so inexpensive. This one is my absolute favorite, Be a Direct Selling Superstar. I heard someone, gotta make sure I can hold it the right way. You're reading it upside down. I realize that. It's even got a little comment from Orville Heidi in the back. And it's a step-by-step guide. Don't try and reinvent. Don't go wandering off through the brambles or the rocky path when the path already exists. There's no shortcuts. You do what you have to do to get where you want to go. And if you want it, you'll find a way. If you don't, you'll find an excuse. So you have to learn with training. So keep your training short. And if you're training short and they don't do, then say to them, okay, what I want you to do is I want you to re-listen to that Facebook Live I put on the page. I want you to have a go at it. But don't just rush in with more help or training. But also know that at the first 3 months are very overwhelming. That's where you have to hold their hand, hold them close, be there with you, reassure them, I know you can do it. Does that make sense? But I do not spend time. I work with a group right now. I'm helping another company come into Australia, just a small company, very different from Scentsy and only on a small basis, but I'm helping them. And I know because my time is more valuable than them. If somebody says to me, Mary, what was that? What was it you said? If someone messages me, oh, Mary, what was it you were saying about? I go, it's in your K-Hub under the last training. I don't tell them because when people do that to me, I feel they're saying my time is less valuable than theirs, and it's lazy. So does that sound really with my books? If somebody hasn't bought my book, I might say, oh, it's chapter 7 of Be a Direct Selling Superstar. That's what you need. So I don't rush to help people because I know that this is a numbers game and not everybody has personally what it takes. Does that make sense, Teresa?
It makes complete sense. Thank you so much for answering that question for us. And I believe Debbie Pitts-Palmer has a question for you. Debbie?
Hey, Debbie.
Hi, Mary. Thank you so much for joining us. Absolutely love recruiting. That's what I have a passion for that because I know the opportunity is so much more valuable. What are your thoughts about growing wide? What tips would you have to offer? I mean, because sometimes people say, I don't know if I want to recruit so many people, or I just want to do so many at one time, or what are your thoughts about that?
The only security you have, it's a great question, Debbie, and thank you for inviting me on for these lovely ladies today too. You're completely responsible for this because I have such admiration for you. So everybody, your only security is personal activity. I would say to you all, 50% of your time on personal activity, at least when you're a superstar director. Before that, I want you to spend 80% of your time on personal activity. Biggest excuse, and remember, you cannot make excuses and money at the same time. The biggest excuse I get from people, I didn't have my PRV this month because I was so busy helping my team. It's an excuse. The best way you can help your team is have your name up there on the leaderboard as the top seller. The best way you can help your team is prove that you can sell consistently every month to prove that you can sponsor. Because let me tell you also, let me put some fear into you. If you spend all your time, let's say you sponsor me or enroll me, and I'm amazing, I'm a superstar, and you become dazzled by all the volume I'm bringing into your business. You spend all your time with me, and then one day I call you and say, I'm quitting. My husband's got a new job, so I'm out, or I've just changed my mind. I don't want to do it. Your business, boom, you have no security. Your top people will either promote above you or they will disappear. And that comes back to the beginning of understanding the only security you have is personal activity. So I want you to spend the time building your own skills. It's building your own skills. How do you do that? First of all, work out and there's lots of other books. I think these are the best. You can only afford one. You can only afford one. Buy these 3 as a set. So be a direct selling superstar, be a party plan superstar, because even with online parties now, this will teach you the steps to do it. And of course, the be a direct selling superstar, which should be your blueprint. See, I can't help. I'm a salesperson just by nature. But you have to spend your time on personal activity, nothing else. Do what I do, not what I say. We train too much. I went into some of the Scentsy Facebook pages, and I'm a member of quite a few of them, which I appreciate that you trust me so much. And there's just so much training. My brain hurts. You don't need more information. What you need from your leader is inspiration by the role model and influence, where they look to you, they listen to you, not that voice in their head that's negative, or not the negativity of other people. I tried that, it didn't work. I had a cousin that did it. Personal activity. Great question, Debbie. Who else would like to ask?
Amber, do you have a question for Mary? Amber Turner? Well, we're waiting for, or Kelly, do you have a question? Kelly Rashaw?
Yes. Hi, Mary. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Hey.
I had a question because I know I have the book at home. I think it's the Party Planning Superstar.
Yes.
And with the world, how it's moving and changing, and COVID, and we never know when that's going to be a relief. Do you have any insight or advice on how we can deal with that in a home? Because obviously we can have our home parties, and we obviously have our testers and stuff, but maybe other ideas that you can think of as far as that party planning piece that we need, that we survive on in COVID times now.
I love that question because it's so current. Here's the deal, everyone. All that COVID has done, forget the tragedy. I'm not going to comment on that. It's just horrendous. All that COVID has done is accelerated the inevitable for our businesses. We were always heading this way. We just headed this way very, very fast. So if I can give you all one piece of key advice, is you need to learn to make better, use your Facebook Lives, use your Zoom meetings to learn to communicate more effectively. If you're communicating effectively on video, imagine how amazing you are going to be when you're out there being able to do your socials, parties, or whatever you call them. Just imagine going to the market. So I would have a challenge for all of you, is improve your online skills so that you basic things. I popped on to somebody this morning for a group, another Scentsy group I'm talking with this afternoon, and remember, this is two-way. This is my give back time, yes, but the other thing is you support my books, and I so much appreciate it. But I see people sitting there going, oh, I won't get started, or they're just fiddling around, just have a drink, everybody, I'm just waiting to see if there's somebody pops on, hopefully some people are coming, hey, yelling at the kids over here. And I just think that is crazy. Look, if nobody's on that video, what I want you to do is get ready to go. So on that live, got your phone up there, you've got your Facebook, make sure your background is suitable, make sure you're wearing something a little bit colorful, and make sure that it's your face, not your t-shirt with, dog mom or something on it. And I applaud all of you. I love the fact that you've all got yourselves positioned so well on the screen that you look professional. But if nobody's on, the first thing I want you to do is just start recording live. Well, hi, everybody. This is Mary Christensen. Thank you so much for joining me. Some of you will be coming on, but today I have the most exciting topic to talk to you about. Today, we're going to talk about boom, 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 and let people come on. Later on, you're free to say, free to say, hey, feel free to comment, and it's great to see so many joining. But that first 2 minutes, imagine if you stood up at a live party, you're at somebody's place and their friends are there, and you went, just waiting for everybody to stop talking and listen to me. you know, hey, can I have a drink? Is anyone going? Yeah, imagine if so whatever you would do live, do online. I mean, I would love to spend some time teaching those skills, but I'm looking around at you all now, and you've already got the basic that you're all sitting beautifully on the phone. I know some of you are in the car, and I get that, but you've all positioned yourselves well. But how many of you have seen those videos where the first 3 minutes, those of you who showed up on time, are hearing somebody going, oh, I'm just going to wait to see if anyone comes on, just have a drink. Does that make sense? So use this time to become a much better communicator. Online parties are fabulous because any of you watch cooking shows? For years, celebrity chefs and television presenters had been able to demonstrate how to cook by saying, oh, this is just, oh, the smell of this is just beautiful, the aroma through the house. And you can't smell or taste that food, but they've managed to do it. Watch a few cooking shows and watch how clever they are at presenting online. So be prepared. I mean, and I know you know how to do online parties, but this business comes down to one thing. It's your ability. And by the way, your face, just sharing at me now, you've just got this beautiful face shining out at the screen. You're right in there, and I can see how good you would be online anyway. Does that make sense to everyone? We've just headed where we were going all anytime, but keep up these skills. Anyone else?
Love that. Amber Turner, she has a question.
Yes.
I do have a question, and I can't believe I'm even speaking to you. This is truly such an honor. Thank you so much for giving us your time. Okay, so I know that you know what has happened with Scentsy over the pandemic. It's been the biggest unexpected blessing ever, this hyper growth that we've entered. So I know a lot of consultants in my organization across the company, myself included, have experienced the craziest roller coaster over the past year. There's a lot of burnout going on. There's a lot of exhaustion going on. And so what are your tips to maintain consistency and take care of ourselves and not burn out, even though we're going through such a blessing in our business?
It's absolutely amazing. And isn't it exciting that where people thought COVID would destroy home-based businesses, or again, it proved that the model works, that the model, everyone wants to work from home now. So it's gone from being, oh, you know, I'm a home-based mom to, hey, guess what? I work from home. I already did. The adjustment for me was very little, and you deserve all the success you're getting, because I also see that you did grow. So the advice I would give you, and I do this all the time, my best client messaged me this morning, and she said, we've got a convention this weekend that I'm speaking at, and she said, can I go over, and this is my highest paying client. She said, Mary, can we spend 10 minutes going over the agenda again today? Now, the easiest thing for me would have been to say, yes, I can. But the reality is I just spent 40 minutes with her 2 days ago. We went through the agenda. I wanted to focus on you. I know that, and I don't normally do 2 in a day, but there is another group that's asked me to speak today, and I just want to give back because I know that you'll pay it forward. I know that one day you'll be sitting where I am and helping other people. So I had to say to her, I can't today. I don't make excuses. I say no without guilt, embarrassment, or fear. So I want you to be able to say, maybe a consultant who's bothering you too much, I want you to be able to say, Thursdays from 3 till 6, that's my family time. I want you to be able to say, I don't mornings are my time. And I want you to have these friends ready. And if someone tries to say to you something like, oh, can I just do a quick call? Say, I'd love to. Let's do it tomorrow morning, because I'm. So what I need you to do, everyone, I need you to value yourself enough to set your own business hours that can be flexible, but at the same time are also fixed. Does that make sense? Don't, even you could put at the bottom of your email, You know, I'm available to you from dum dum da dum dum. Or you know, perhaps Sundays are very important to you as a family time. I'm available to you 6 days a week, but Sundays is my family time. Sundays is my church time. Sundays is my me time. Does that make sense? Learn that phrase. I will say no without guilt, embarrassment, or fear. No, because I say no. And let's face it, the ones who bother you the most are the ones who are doing the least. So, does that make sense, everyone?
That really
You cannot, even if you're a new consultant, a new leader, I want you to do this, because it's better. A lot of companies find that they give a lot of attention, and then as their teams grow, they can't. It's best to start off and act as the person you're going to become. Who else have we got?
So one of the things that we wanted to do is we wanted to bless you this evening, Mary. I have a program called Rise to Success that I conduct with many of my rising leaders, and you're part of our program. So many people are like, I can't believe, like, we study Mary Christensen. Many of them have bought all the books even this week. And so what I wanted to do is just kind of open it up. We normally don't open up the entire group, but I know that I might have Sarah Sampson on is in our Rise to Success, and she's just been singing you all the praises all week long, and she's purchased all your books. She went through, I think, 2 books today. And Sarah, if you're on, she may or may not be, go ahead and unmute yourself. And I wanted you to be able to speak to Mary as far as how the book that you read today that you finished helped you. And if Sarah's not on, then we're going to pass the mic to someone else, because there's quite a few out here. And there's others who have not purchased the book quite yet. But I guarantee you probably tonight, everyone's already on Amazon and everything else to order. So yeah. Sarah, are you on? If so, go ahead and unmute yourself. And if she's not, then if one of my other Rise to Success folks or anyone would like to unmute yourself, we'll just take one at a time. But I would love for Mary to maybe hear from some of us as far as how the books have impacted you. And we'll probably catch Sarah later, but go ahead. Okay, Brittany just messaged her. Is there anyone else? I know, don't be shy. Go ahead and unmute your phone. And
I'll go, Teresa.
you.
I'm just excited to be here tonight, and I was reading about the 5-second rule and about the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let your mind reset your mind and say that you can do it. And that I was reading a little bit about that, and that really helped me a whole lot. I forgot what book that was in. I'm not at home right now, but just reading that helped me out a whole lot. I'm in Rise to Success right now, and so that helped me out a whole lot reading that.
Thank you, Tasha. She's actually in our program as well. And we just had a study this week just about your books, Mary Christensen. Okay, is there anyone else, thanks Tasha, that would like to unmute themselves?
I would.
Okay.
So I'm not a superstar director yet. I'm actually quite new, but I do have a question that Mary had brought up earlier. She said that you will to keep pushing even when you have those lulls and those bumps and those times where it's not that you want to give up, but just where nothing's happening and things like that. How, and I haven't read the books yet, I'm excited to get them, but how do you what is your advice of getting past those and not wanting to give up?
Look, it's natural to feel bad. I mean, we're women, we take if 100 people tell us we're amazing, we go, really? If one person says you suck, you're not, we don't, we're like, I mean, I just accept myself with all, just accept yourself as you are. And remember, it does take courage to do this. You try to play the good tapes in your head rather than the negative. The fact is, everybody fails in this business at some point. Some fail more than others. But if you continue on the journey, you'll make it. So it's okay to accept disappointment, express it to your people. I'm feeling bad because make sure you don't do this on your public Facebook page, because that's your shop window. But you might, with your support group, say, hey, I'm feeling disappointed, so I'm back, I'm about to, pick myself up and get back on the, I mean, it's anyone. It's like going to university and not doing well on a test. It's life is not, not all just wine and roses, life. And whoever is going to earn thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year without going through some effort and showing some stamina. Everyone, I'm just going to say one little thing. We do need to finish at, because you don't want to be talking to me, and actually I've lost a screen for anyone, but anyway, I agree. Being authentic, Bonnie, be yourself. I use my husband as my sounding board, like, but be your best public self. What we're going to do is I'm going to just ask somebody to finish it off. Look, I'm going to make an offer. I don't normally do this. I think you're fabulous. Gosh, I look at you all and I think, oh my gosh, they're fabulous people. So what I'm going to do is you invite me back. Go out there, get the books. Not just my books. Look, my books aren't the answer. You having the courage to get out there and find people, and the courage to ask people. I think of it like a desert. I used to work in Nevada a lot, and I'd drive from California to Vegas, and the desert looks so barren, like no life. And then just a little bit of rain and the desert springs to life. And that's how I feel about this business. I feel there are literally millions of women who are waiting for someone like you to come along and sprinkle that inspiration on them so they have a chance to grow. So I'm going to pass it back. Maybe I'm not sure who, but pass it back to one last comment. Invite me back. I promise I'll come a couple of months' time. And now that I know you a little bit more, know what you want, we'll be able to have a little more chat. Does that work? Oh, what are the names of the books? Look, if you just Google that one, they'll all come up. The Amazon's cheapest. Be a direct selling superstar. That's your number one choice. Be a party plan superstar and imagine it's online. It's the same thing. Be a recruiting superstar. I don't title these books. My publisher does. Be a network marketing super leader. These two are the two leadership books. And I think this one's a little bit out of date now. I wrote it back in 2006. I think the other four are probably the ones that you want. Thank you so much, everyone. Who'd like to do the final comment? And I will promise I'll come back and help you in a couple of months. Debbie just has to invite me.
Thank you, Mary. I'll go ahead and close this, but thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to meet with us tonight. You did an amazing job, as always. We love hearing you, and so many of us love your accent. But so much information. I took pages of notes, and I know so many others did as well. What is the best platform to purchase your books? That's one question that I did want to ask. Is Amazon good, or?
Look, it used to be, I remember when my first books came out, they'd be in 3rd Street Promenade and Barnes and Noble, because I know I used to run up into the store every day, go up the elevator, pull the books out and put them in the best-selling books, even though they weren't there. But now everything is online. Amazon sells 97% of my books. I don't know if you're all the US, but if you're in any other country, Book Depository has free shipping. So the other thing you can do is get in touch with HarperCollins, who are now my publisher. They're the largest publisher in the world, based in Texas, but that's only for bulk. And honestly, Amazon has them at a great discount, I would say. That's just the world now. And isn't it exciting? You have the resources to run your own online business with all the resources of Amazon with one product. It's such an endorsement of how the world is now. So that's probably the best. Thank you so much, everybody.
Have a great day, and we would love to have you back. Thanks, Mary.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you.